Hey, there we are. And we're out of order. There we go. Yeah. There you go. Then now we're like A.M.O.K. and then whatever Scott is over there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to
I don't
the
know how
A.M.O.K.
you're
show.
seeing A.M.O.K.
Happy Tuesday. I'm looking at the way I'm seeing it on the thingamajig, right?
I have a combo.
I see A.K.O.M. and Scotty.
That's what I see too.
There.
Oh, there we go.
Makaka.
Makaka.
Hey, everybody! Welcome.
Akam.
That's right. It has to be something has to go right, and that's what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing. Anyhow, hi.
Hello,
Hi.
everybody.
What do we got? This is our favorite time of the week. It's time we get together again and talk about things, talk about stuff, talk about people, talk about person, places, and things. And I don't know what are you, Scott? I mean, you're
What are you, Scott?
You're a person, place, or a thing.
Right there. That's me.
Yeah, right there. Well, you got your finger. Okay.
He's his own island.
It's what happened. It's what happened when I tried to take care of this. So go for it, Dan.
Are you ready?
We're already 6
All
feet
right.
deep.
It is Kansas's turn tonight, and with us we have Scotty Rademacher from. Actually, he's from a few places now. He runs a Kansas Sightings Facebook page, and he's with Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations out of Oklahoma and Kansas, and now he's also with Southeast Kansas Border Town Paranormal. So we're pretty excited about
He
him.
is okay.
Yes.
You are like a triple header in the Kansas
He
area.
is.
Right over it.
He actually is a person, place, and thing.
He is, yeah.
All right.
He and Enzo were gracious enough to both join us as new members, so we're super thrilled to have him. And Scotty's kind of our cryptid expert, and Enzo's kind of our UFO guy, so he's our UFO expert. So we're pretty stoked to have them both on.
Got a talented group. They really do. You do have a talented group.
Yep.
We think so, and now we have a super duper talented group.
Super duper.
Yeah,
Right on.
because you have the UFO guy, and now you got the Bigfoot guy, and
Right?
You got the ghost gals.
Yeah.
Bad about Scott like that. We don't know the size of his feet. I mean, Scott, do you have big feet?
Huh.
I don't.
Okay.
Enzo says as the new guy, I have to carry Pam's luggage.
Yeah.
Little bitty ones.
Little bitty feet.
Not the Bigfoot.
Compared to some of the feet you found.
Right. Those are close.
That's true.
That is, wow. Goodness gracious.
So we've had Scott on before, and it's been a while though. So Scotty, tell us, what have you been up to?
It's been about a year since I've been on.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Man, oh man, time flies.
Wow, time flies.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Absolutely.
Come on.
I was just looking at your name a couple of days ago. I found one of the stickers you gave me. It's about that big.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it says Red Dirt Cryptid.
Yeah.
Nice.
I use it as a bookmark. It's great.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works.
Sorry, Pam. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So what have you been up to this last year?
So, I don't know. Really not a whole heck of a lot as far as, like, doing a lot of investigations. But I did go down to Canton Lake with them down in Oklahoma for an overnight camp out. And we were there for the weekend. The lake level was quite a bit lower than what we anticipated.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they did get some footprints the last time, the time before I went with them. They did find some pretty good prints out in the marsh area where, you want to go, if you're barefooted, definitely. And
Absolutely.
they did find some pretty good prints out there in that marsh. So
That's always fascinating, especially when you find them in the marshy areas, because there's the broken reeds and there's things that'll just cut your feet to shreds if you're out there barefooted.
Oh, yeah. And some of the ones they actually did find were actually smaller ones. They weren't even really big ones.
So
So
probably,
they're like juvenile.
So children.
yeah. And actually, let me pull him up. Brian, that Scotty went with, he's with Red Dirt Cryptids. He had sent some prints that they had pulled. So let me share my screen here.
It'll work.
Second, if I can find it.
Almost there.
Oh, hang on. I got to pull up another screen. My bad. Okay, so chat amongst yourselves while I figure out what I just did.
So when you do, Scott, when you find the small ones, the juveniles, let's say, do you start fanning out to see if you can find larger ones that are like at the edge of the tree lines or anything like that? Do you kind of work that way?
Yeah, usually if we do find one, we'll, everybody will stop, and then we'll just kind of spread out a little bit to see if we can find some other prints in that general area, and then kind of work our way out to see if we find any more.
Okay.
Is it common to find them alone by themselves all the time, or?
Not really. I mean, usually you'll find other prints too. The actual, I don't know if I ever mentioned it or even talked to you guys about it before, and I was thinking about things to talk about tonight. But I actually did find some prints west of Ark City along the river. And that was actually what got me involved with Brian.
Yeah.
Because Brian came down and actually we did a video on everything. And I took him out to the sites and such. And the prints that I actually found were on the river. And they were by themselves. And they were about the same size of my prints, which is like a 9.5, 10.
Oh.
I talked to a couple people before about them, and they said, well, is there woods next to you? And I said, oh, yeah, there's woods right next to the river, some thick woods. And they told me, they said, well, more than likely, probably what it was a juvenile down there playing in the river. And then, the older ones were off in the woods just watching them. And there actually was about probably 15, 20 prints that I actually did find. And I tracked them, and I went down the river a little ways, and then they actually went up into the brush, which was really odd for somebody that's running around barefooted.
Yeah.
Right.
And usually, if you're on the Arkansas River, you don't run around barefooted. You'll have some sort of shoes on because there's a lot of glass and other things, there that can cut your foot up. So, and plus, I think it was probably late February, early March. It was a Sunday morning, so it wasn't really that warm out. I mean, I remember I had jeans on and boots and, a hoodie. So running around barefooted just didn't make any sense to me. So
I wonder if they have.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they have extra thick soles that they don't feel it.
Yeah, I would.
Fur, of course, to keep the top part warm.
I would guess so. I mean,
well, we used to have really thick soles too when we actually went barefoot all the time, but when we found the luxury of shoes.
That's true.
You're doing plaster castings, of course, and that from the crowd.
Yeah, Brian has numerous castings that we have actually casted out on different investigations. He's got some small ones. He's got some pretty good sized ones. He even actually did an own casting with zone footprint, so that you can actually see the differences in them. So,
well, that's what I was going to ask. How do you know it's not some?
That was my question that I was going to ask.
Yeah, you said
you
a
tell the
little
difference
feet. How do you know it's not just some, crackhead out there walking around?
yeah, I've been told it's just if you look at your foot, you got that little arch that's in it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it right now.
Oh.
But it's got that little arch on it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest differences. Like the Bigfoot prints, what I'm told, they're just kind of
flat-footed.
Yeah.
I've got those I can show that Brian sent.
Yeah.
Let me pull them up real quick here.
Do I have to do anything from this side? Oh, there you go.
No, you don't.
There you go.
So I like how he used the measuring thing in here because that's a really good tool to use for this. Let me flip through because one of these actually shows. Yeah, see, it's like if you look at how small that foot is, it's 5¼ inches long,
Yeah.
but it's
That's
three
the
and a
one
quarter
that we
inches
found.
wide.
That's the one we found
Wow.
Saturday night.
Yeah, that was just this last weekend, right?
Yeah, right.
And
And where was that? I'm sorry.
hang on, that one's not going to show.
Saturday night was when we
Oh
found out.
man, those two aren't going to show. Okay.
Where at? In Kansas?
Oklahoma.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of people call it Jefferson Park. Some people call it Rock Island Park. It's by Jefferson, Oklahoma.
Tell them about the red ball.
The red ball.
That one gets brought up a lot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Brian told you about, because we went back to that same park Saturday night, and we actually did try to find the red ball, and it was gone from where he put it. We actually did put something else in there.
Oh, did you?
Just
Cool.
to see what happens with it. So it was probably about a year ago when we went down there. We've actually been to the park. I think this was the 4th time, and Jeff and Brian went the first time, and then that was the time where they actually lost time. From the moment they got out of the vehicle and got back, they lost about 7 to 8 minutes of time, I believe is what it is. Which was,
That's
and
fascinating.
Brian was even on video, and he's just like, "What's going on here?" He's just like he just got like turned around out in the woods, and that just doesn't happen with Brian. I mean, he's
No.
pretty well off in the woods. I mean, so but then there was that, and then the second time we went down there was Coleman, myself, I think Jeff was with us too, and Brian, of course. And we went down there during the daylight to kind of just look around, get familiar with things, see if there's anything that's like unnatural, out of ordinary, sort look for prints if we can find anything. And then we just left and went back, got something to eat, came back after dark. I had to go home because I had to work early the next morning, so I left. And then they went back out. And then the next day I was talking to Brian, and I go, "So how'd it go last night?" And he just said, "Call me." So,
Oh.
Oops. Uh-oh.
so I mean, when that happens, you get a little excited. You're like, "All right, cool. What happened?" So I called him, and he just asked me. He said, "Did you see any kids' toys out in the park?" I was like, "No, I didn't see nothing." I said, "Why? What's going on?" He said, "Well, I don't know what to think about this." He said, "But there was a red ball that was in the park, like a dodgeball, that was sitting there, and it looked like it just came off the shelf. It had a little bit of condensation on the top of it, but that was it." And he's like, "I don't know what to think about it." And I'm like, "I don't know either, man."
That's pretty crazy.
So Brian picked it up, and he was walking with it, and then Coleman's like, "Do you think we should take that?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know." So they ended up, and they made a decision. They were going to put it in a hollowed out tree, and they put it inside there, and then they put a piece of bark over the top of it, so you couldn't really see it. And then there was that, and then we forgot about it, and didn't even think about it, and then when we were down there this last time, Saturday night, the ball was gone. So, but we did put something else back in the place where the ball was at. And I think this time we need to stay on top of it and go back, even if it's just one of us to go down there and check it out, see if it's gone, see what's going on with it. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and this park is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's just nothing. There's just some small towns. I think Pond Creek is south of there, and it's like maybe a little over 1,000, maybe a couple thousand. But it's a small town.
Yeah.
And Jefferson itself, it's pretty much an abandoned town. So,
It's pretty cool.
I don't know. But I mean, after it went dark, we went back Saturday night. There was a lot of activity as far as animals. We've seen possum. We've seen a pretty good sized buck. We tried out these new like night vision type binoculars, It worked really pretty well. I was tinkering with them. It was kind of fun by the end of the night, because I'd never used them before, so I was trying to get used to them recording stuff and zooming in and. But yeah, so I seen a pretty good sized buck that passed in front of us down on the railroad tracks that we were on, and then we seen a pack rat, several raccoon, I believe.
So there's plenty of.
Yeah, there was a lot of activity in the park itself. Yeah, so
That's awesome.
So how does if there's Bigfoot presence in the area, how does that affect other wildlife? Does it affect it very much in your in your research?
Leave a bag of Jack.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I read that.
Pretty much what happens is the
Yeah.
right.
I was going to read that in a second too, but I thought I'd ask the question first.
Pretty much what happens is the forest just produces silence, and there's just no sound. So it's like the animals are aware that a Bigfoot is in the area, and they just leave the area.
So they kind of back out or go hide or something.
Right.
Well, then that would is he Bigfoot in your opinion? Is he like an omnivore or carnivore, or you just eat berries and stuff? And if you just eat berries, then the other animals would care less, right?
Right. I think it's a mixture of both of them. I mean, honestly, if it was, a creature that size, he can't just live on berries or anything else like that just alone. He has to be some sort of a carnivore or meat eater. So, it would make sense.
I'm going to pull up. I fixed the other footprint that wasn't showing up a minute ago. I changed the thing on it. So I'm going to pull this back up, Adrian. And share this
my goodness.
real quick.
What? It went away.
What
I don't. There you go. Add to stage. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. So this is the one I wanted you to see because we were talking about the difference in how the footprints look, how you can kind of tell if it's different from what a human footprint would look like. And you can see how it's flatter with really no arch anywhere. And that's what it looks like regular. And then Brian outlined it in red.
From this, it doesn't look like they have much toes either. Are they shorter, stubbier toes?
And I think this is a juvenile.
Yeah, maybe
okay.
Well, on the juveniles, they would be a little bit smaller, but once they get larger, there's going to be more of a toe on the ends there.
Okay.
And if you guys look around the area, see all the broken branches and all that stuff that they would have to be walking through all the time.
Yeah.
But you only saw one, not like two consecutive that you can get a stride from or anything like that.
Yeah, this was the only one that we've seen that we found that night.
So what is your opinion on how they keep hidden? Nobody can actually get a picture of them.
The ninja.
Well, so this is my opinion, and I actually got asked about this today. There's like several different groups that are like on Facebook Messenger. They'll create like a chat room and people just ask questions to talk about it. So as far as your question about them not being seen, this is the way that I see it is they're just so in tune with the woods. That's where they live. It's their backyard. So they can hide from you. They know where all the hiding places are at. They have a trail that they can follow, that, they can be quiet and they can get out of there. And honestly, it's my opinion that they will see you and feel you before you even have a clue that they're even close by you. And if they want to be seen by you, they will be. If they don't, they're going to back off. But I don't really believe that you'll have any encounters unless you get close to one of the nests or some of the juveniles are close by. It's more like a protective instinct,
Yeah.
When you have kids, you're protected of them, and I think that's the way that it works.
Yeah, you come across one of the juveniles, your last words will probably be ah.
Or starting with Junior.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of my understanding that they will, give you a warning. So they'll throw like rocks or something at you
Yeah.
to kind of deter you from coming any closer. So
Is when you guys look for places to search, is there a specific reason that you choose where you do, or how do you choose your spots to go look for these creatures?
well, we have like set spots that we like to go to. See, like we'll make a plan for like 6 months on different campouts at different spots, and of course, you want to go to where there's been sightings. And I think Brian said last night that he's has over 300, almost 400 different sightings in Oklahoma and Kansas that he's documented.
Yeah.
And we go by that, and you want them to be good sightings. You don't want, well, we found a footprint. The Class A sighting, which is a visual sighting, is always a plus, and more than one, because then that's all right. That's a hot area, so you definitely want to get into that area.
Cool.
You also look for multiple sightings. So if there's been 4, 5, 6 sightings, that's a better place to go.
And sometimes it's if it happened like a month ago, 2 weeks ago, we can change our plans and go to that area. Because I think it was somebody asked the question whether or not they were like if they like I can't even think right now. If they stayed in one area, were they like migrating?
That's where my head was going. Do you think they migrated? They moved along?
Right.
I don't know. They seemed like they're pretty much know their area and they would stay in that area.
Right.
To me,
Right. I think it was an old Bigfoot investigator, Grover Krantz, that made the statement that he believes that there's like a family group that stays in an area, and then they're like some of the younger males will roam around looking for a family or whatever the case might be. And I think in some cases they do migrate, but I don't believe it's in all cases. I think around the Kansas area, like where I'm at, South Central Kansas, and just about, I would say, anywhere in Kansas, they would migrate through here.
I'd get out of Kansas too.
Hey.
It's like because you don't want to be food.
Right. That's what Road Dog says. Where the prints were found, where there are caves around close, but there's no caves in Kansas. It's flat.
No, Kansas actually has over 800 caves.
Yeah, there is actually quite a few caves in Kansas.
We were just having this conversation the other day.
So although there are no hills, you can go into the ground.
Yeah.
So there are hobbit holes.
Probably old storm shelters. I want it to be, especially in Kansas.
That could be.
So
There's really caves in Kansas.
when you're talking about caves, there actually is an area that's out east of Ark City here, south of Silverdale, Kansas, that's right on the Oklahoma-Kansas border, where there actually is a cave. And that's where there has been several reports from that area. And myself actually did hear some whoops right there in that area one day. And I was just out there goofing off. I wasn't doing anything. I was just out there showing a friend the cave, and that's when I heard the whoops. And it stopped me dead in my tracks. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. And Robert Swain had played some of the audio and the callbacks, and I always said, yeah, I hear that out in the woods. I'm back in the truck and headed home.
Yeah. Well, this is so that, we went and looked at the cave, and we were walking back towards the truck, and that's when we heard the whoops. And there was about 5 or 6 of them. Like I said, it stopped me dead in my tracks. She looked at me, and she's like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "It sounds like a Bigfoot."
Dinner bell.
She's like, "What do we do?" And I'm like, you just stay right there, and I'm going to kind of look around a little bit. So I looked around a little bit, didn't see nothing, but I did go back out to that area, and I've been out there several dozen times. I mean, it's
You
a
ever hear any
popular
more of the
spot.
whoops or anything like that after
I
that?
haven't heard nothing else. And it is close to the river. The river's probably about a half mile from there.
So maybe he saw you out there and he'd tell all the other ones, there goes the neighborhood.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know, man.
So, with the
Bigfoot
drought
always
that
seems
we've
kind of.
had, have you guys noticed a difference in sightings or anything like that?
Well, generally speaking, what happens is like during the summer months, the sightings kind of go down.
Yeah.
And then around fall time, it starts to pick up, and that's usually when there's a lot more activity. And that's
The same with paranormal too. The same with ghosts, because during the summer months it seems like activity goes way down. Spring and fall it's real high. Even and it's like super cold, activity is kind of low too. But it's like that fall and springtime always seem to be the greatest amount of activity. But I would think that if it's a big hairy animal, and it's 150 degrees outside,
right.
I'm not moving around and expending any energy. I'm trying to stay, as cool as I can, underground or
Well,
at least under a tree somewhere. Whew, it's hot.
well, maybe they migrate north during the summer.
I know there was a
Gosh.
story about one, and
Yeah.
it was they thought it was an older one because it was white gray in color.
White gray one, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they thought
Yeah.
he migrated through because he would be spotted at different points
Right.
in a pretty big area.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he like a 10-foot one or something?
Yeah, he was huge.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Big old boy that was out there. So yeah,
Yeah.
And
he'd
they
be hard
don't-
to hide, you know.
Yeah.
And they don't have name tags either, so
Right.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
little jackets
This is
with
Billy
their,
Bob, and the other one's Fred, and
Right.
they'll get with you later.
So,
So, out of all your stories, what's your favorite one? Or your favorite experience, maybe?
Probably some of my favorite ones are from a friend of mine that lives over west of Arc City in Utah Springs. And he's an outdoorsman, so he hunts and he fishes throughout all hours of the night. And he actually did send me a couple pictures that he snapped, and it was of a black figure that was peeking out from behind a tree towards him. And
Nice.
one of the other stories he was telling me that he was out hunting with his coon hunting with his dogs, and he was just like, what's going on? Because it was like silent. There wasn't anything going on. And then he's like, where'd my dogs go? So we couldn't find his dogs.
Dogs went home.
So he left the area and went back to his truck, and all of his dogs are in their kennels. In the
Oh, they
back
really
of the
were.
truck.
oh my
They
gosh,
were clear to the back of the kennels. So
Oh,
obviously
no.
something spooked the dogs and scared the hell out of them. They just left the area. So, and they were his hunting dogs. So I
Wow.
always thought that was just a funny story, and yeah. But he's a fun guy to talk to, and he's had quite a few different experiences over there around Utah Springs.
So, around Utah Springs, I know that it's supposed to be haunted too. Is there any activity that goes along with that he's aware of or that you're aware of?
I think down in the old part of Utah Springs, there's a bunch of, like remains of buildings, like the foundations and some walls. I think I've heard of some different, like ghostly type activity down in that area,
Yeah.
like orbs or something like that.
I haven't been out there in years.
It would be a fun area to go to and just kind of look around and see, come up with anything. And I'm sure, I know quite a few people live over there, so it wouldn't be no big deal to get in there and
Cool.
kind of tell them what we're doing. And,
It'd be fun.
it's a fun town. It really is.
It's neat. It's a pretty place.
Yeah.
any of the locations that you kind of go to, are they on Native American reservations or lands, or because there's a lot of that ancestry in that all over Kansas, whereas not as much in some of the other states. I mean, there was,
Right.
but any of those sightings, and then are there any correlations there with some of their stories?
Right. That's always a good area to go to. To be honest with you, any place that there's close to any type of Indian reservations or anything like that, wildlife refuges are a really good place to go to. I've kind of found that there's a direct correlation between wildlife refuges and like dogman encounters or Bigfoot encounters. But we almost kind of think that they know, like during hunting season, they'll go to the wildlife areas because they're not, people aren't allowed to go over there. They're
Protected areas, yeah.
It's almost like they know, and it's just.
Well, maybe they can read.
Maybe
Posted, no hunting. Thank God.
Maybe they can. I don't know.
I think it's like our dogs know what time and what day of the week it is. They just know because over all the time that they learn the habits of man and they just run with it. I'm sure Bigfoot to be able to be as head as. Not saying there's a Bigfoot. I'm just saying that if there is a Bigfoot, they'd probably figure out people pretty easily because we're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I mean, if you look at Bigfoot as a creature, I mean, they live very close to the land, more like what we used to. And we know that we're numb to everything around us, completely oblivious for the most part. And they're not if they're still in that relationship with the land. So makes sense.
And it does.
Yeah. How far off the beaten path or the roads or paths themselves do you typically have to go to find
Sometimes
what you're searching?
Sometimes you don't even have to go very far at all.
The Hendersons found Harry on the road.
Wasn't he hitchhiking or something?
I'm just saying. He was trying to cross the road, I guess.
Yeah, he was trying to cross the road.
I'm saying they were out there, but they were on a road.
Thought he was a chicken, right? There you go.
Mm.
But I mean, seriously, how far typically do you have to go? And you said sometimes they're just there.
Sometimes the best idea, and sometimes you can find actual prints just like on the side of the road. So if it was rained the night before or that morning or something, sometimes one or two of us will just go drive down some old roads out in the middle of nowhere and just look alongside the road, and sometimes there'll be prints there. Most of the time there really isn't, but you really don't. I mean, it's a good idea to go as far as you can into the woods, but you don't want to go too far because, well, one, you don't want to get lost, and for two, there's other animals out there that you got to be careful of. Especially in Oklahoma, you got bear and you got cougars and other things like that, and it's always a good idea not to go alone too.
Yeah, because when you're out there in the wilderness, your food.
Right.
I don't like
that.
So take us on a typical. You say you're going down an old road or whatever, farmland or whatever the case might be. What do? You creep along like a couple of miles an hour? Are you looking for what signs are you looking for to stop or look?
Well, for one, usually we'll sprout off into like 2 teams, sometimes 3 teams. Just depends on how many there are, and there will always be at least 2 people in a group, and we'll have walkie-talkies. We'll communicate with each other, and we'll try to have a meeting place that we'll meet back up, in say like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or whatever the case might be. And as far as what we're looking for, we always want to look on the ground. And sometimes it's really hard to find prints like that one we found the other night. I mean, it was an easy one to spot. So once you kind of get to looking, you can find some prints. And also another thing you want to look is for in the trees, like tree breaks. If they're, like 7 or 8 feet off the ground and it doesn't look like natural, or there's nothing else in the area that's broken, sometimes that can be associated with a tree break that a Bigfoot did. And they use them, and we believe they use them as like markers,
right?
So that they can find their way back to wherever they might be going.
So that's a sign for you to, if you're driving, to get out. Hey, let's check this area because there's some.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
Okay.
Sometimes you can find them, and other times you can't. We've I think down at Canton Lake one time, Eric found like maybe a shelter, and he got into it. We couldn't even see him. I mean,
Wow.
it was.
Wow.
But once he got in there, he can just lay down. And whether or not that's associated with a Bigfoot or not, it's anybody's guess. But it would make sense that they would do something like that. A little shelter that they can make that nobody can see, and you can just walk right by it. I mean, we walked right by Eric and didn't even see him, and he was
Wow.
maybe 15, 20 feet away from us. So
That's cool.
That is amazing.
So you talked a little bit about Bigfoot and Dogman. Is there any other cryptids that you guys have investigated?
as far as investigated, we haven't really investigated any, but I know he has several reports of like flying creatures. I think most of the ones were out in western Oklahoma in the Panhandle.
Pterodactyls, yeah.
Right. Well, actually, there was one that was east of Ark City,
Yeah.
where I had my encounter with whoops, and that was, I think, that was in the middle '80s, and that was around the place where that cave was at too, and that was by two young boys that were
That's
out in the woods.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting question from the chat there is asking you, do you think they follow cattle trails to cover their tracks?
That's an interesting question. It would be smart. I mean, why not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like traveling in single file with high
Right.
numbers. That makes sense to go along the lines of.
I never really thought about that, but yeah, that would be a good,
Yeah, I would.
real smart thing to do.
Dang.
So start checking around cattle
Yeah.
cattle trails to see if there's anything.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, to see if there's anything interspersed with it that would
Right.
Right?
mess up a cow print.
Yeah. Precisely. I mean, yeah, it would make sense. I mean, why not? I mean, most of the time if we go out into the fields like that, we'll follow like the cattle trails. I mean, it's an easy path that's
Already set up.
So hey, yeah.
Deer trails too, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The feet are small though. Big
Well,
feet.
the
Yeah.
kids. It's for the kids. Yeah, they follow.
And one of the other things, some of them little, the thing I was talking about, the little shelters, like the one that Eric was in.
Mm-hmm.
We also believe that they actually will use them as like an ambush type tactic for like deer or any type of animal coming through the area. So they'll like hide in there, and then once they get past them, they'll sneak up from behind them, or they'll use it as like like herding the deer to a particular spot where another one's waiting, like an ambush type predator.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That,
Pretty interesting.
So do you think they can be communicated with?
A couple years ago, I was down at that Honabi Bigfoot Festival,
mhm.
and I don't remember who I was talking to, but I know he was a member of the NOBRO, the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Resource Organization.
Oh.
And he was talking to them in Choctaw Indian. Because I remember,
Interesting.
I went over and asked him. I said, "Are you talking to him or what?" Because I didn't know. And he says, "Yeah." He said, "I'm talking to him because we believe that they know Choctaw Indian language." So
that would make sense.
I've heard that before. Interesting. Was he getting any responses? Do you know? Or
he wasn't getting any responses, but I asked him what he was saying, and he said, "I'm just saying, peaceful things to him, like, we're not here to hurt you, make them feel comfortable and see if they'll come out." But I don't really believe that if there's a group of you, 7 or 8 of you, that are just there and making noise or even just being quiet, but you got stuff in your hand, cameras or whatever the case might be, I don't think you're going to have any action whatsoever. I think the best idea is just to go set up, and we'll do that a lot of times around the campfire. We'll just sit there and talk,
Yeah.
not be loud, don't have anything in our hands other than like a drink or something. And a lot of times that's when you get your best responses. And it's most times when you least expect it.
That's
So,
a lot like paranormal investigating too. It's
Right.
when you least expect it, when you're quiet.
right?
When your guard's down and yeah.
That sounds terrible. I'm sorry. I'm out in the woods. I'm in there trying to be chill, and all of a sudden, boo! Ah! It
Yeah.
Hey, Scott,
doesn't sound like a good time to me.
what do you think? What do you think the closest you've been to one? What do you think is approximate distance away from one? Any guess? Or I didn't mean to put you on the spot here, but
I would probably say the one that was a roadside crossing.
okay.
The one that went out in front of me. I did not actually see it, but my son did.
Okay.
He's the one that actually seen it, and I'm guessing that was probably the closest I've been to one, as far as seeing one. And I'm just guessing maybe it was probably 50, 75 yards.
Okay.
It's pretty close.
But then again, they may have been close to you and saw you
100%.
within 15, 20 feet, but you would have never known based on some of the things you say you've seen, like they're hiding places.
This was a sighting that I was driving down the road, and one passed out between us and another vehicle. And then I slowed down, and then of course that car passed me, and then another one crossed in front of us, and I was looking out the window on the side, and my son was in the front seat, and he just grabbed a hold of me and said, Dad, something else is in the road. So then I turned around real quick, and I didn't see anything. So I asked him what he seen, and he just told me that I don't know what it was, but he said it was just big and it was hairy, and it crossed the road in like 2 steps, and it was gone.
Wow, that's pretty
And
cool.
that was northwest of Ark City.
Yeah.
And that was around fall time. And
Before you guys go out there and you just you hang out and just you're observing. I mean, are you like in a circle so people are looking behind your shoulders or?
Yeah. And we do have different cameras set up that are outside the camp that we're in that look off in the woods, like time-lapse cameras. We do have different audio recorders going. So, yeah, I mean, we do have a nice circle. We got a 360-degree view, so I can look behind them, they can look behind me. And yeah, I mean, it's like the guy time,
Yeah.
We're out in the woods.
Yeah.
Having a good time.
That's right. So
I don't see too many female Bigfoot hunters. We always have the guy Bigfoot hunters.
Yeah, I know the she squatchers. They do it.
She squatchers.
Yeah.
She squatchers. Yep.
That's funny.
A friend of mine, Rebecca Foster, she goes out all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did have that one lady. She said she talked to Bigfoot.
Yeah. Was that Rebecca? No, who was that?
I don't remember.
But she said she had a whole conversation with Bigfoot. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was with you. You guys were at a camp. Was it a camp or was it a retreat or something?
I can't remember.
And she was speaking with something that was off behind one of the cabins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
I do not remember that one.
That's not
I kind of, but I don't remember who it was.
I can't remember who it is either.
terrible host. Terrible
It
host.
wasn't Debbie, was it?
Who? No.
Oh, it could have been Debbie
Was it
Ziegelmeyer.
Debbie Ziegelmeyer?
No.
I don't think it was her. I think it was someone else.
Because I know she's mostly, MUFON, UFOs.
Yeah. No,
But I think she's had.
Wait, was it the? Who's
there
the
was
lady
one
from
because
Colorado?
Rebecca Pittman.
Was it her? Maybe.
Might have been her.
It might have been.
I can't remember.
But I'm thinking it might have been Debbie because when she was out with her brother.
I don't think it was Debbie because I know Debbie.
And the one supposedly tapped on their windows.
No,
Oh yeah.
that wasn't. I mean, I remember her telling that story, but no, it was someone that was actually.
I'll have to do some research and figure out.
Yeah.
In my stacks of
Doing
paper.
Basically speaking between minds.
I
I can't think of the word. Speaking between their minds.
One of these.
Stay tuned while we try to figure this out. The Jeopardy theme will be playing.
I'm sorry, Scott. We're interrupting your
Is
conversation.
that
Yes.
the Colorado Bigfoot that you're talking about?
Possible.
No, there's a lady. That I was saying Colorado. She's an author. She wrote a book on the Limp Mansion.
Oh, that's Rebecca.
Yeah,
Rebecca
but
Coleman.
I'm not sure if that was her or not that said that. Seems like it was somebody earlier in the season last year. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You got a great memory because I can't remember 2 weeks ago.
We'll figure it out.
Have you ever heard of the casino footage from down in El Reno, Oklahoma?
No.
Never heard of that one. Huh? Okay. So that was one of the things I was planning on just doing a little bit of touch base on that one today. And so I think they said it was around 2000. I made some notes. So that was around 2000. It was down there at a casino in El Reno, Oklahoma, where they had caught something on camera that was out back, and there was something that was getting into like their grease dumpster.
Ugh.
So I'm sure you guys have heard of David Wilbanks.
Yeah.
I've heard the name.
Oklahoma Bigfoot investigator and author.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he was one of the guys that actually went down there and got called to investigate it because he was a member of Finding Bigfoot, the Bigfoot Research Organization.
Yeah.
And Matt Moneymaker actually called him and asked him if he'd go down and investigate it. So he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll go do it." So he got down there along with another guy, and he actually did see the video. And he said, I'm quoting what he said. He said, "They do exist."
Oh, yeah.
In 2000. So I don't know how long he's been into the researching Bigfoot, but that was almost 25
Wow.
years. So, and that, to me, that's quite a statement coming from him, because he's he's done Bigfootville, little TV show on Bigfoot in Oklahoma. And another one of the things that was really interesting about the casino footage. Okay, so there was a light fixture that was right above the dumpster. And when this thing came in, it was right underneath that light fixture. They measured the light fixture, and it was 9.5 foot tall.
Wow.
This creature, when it came in, had a slope to it, so it was kind of like ducking. So they figured this thing had to be at least 9.5 foot tall.
Oh, wow.
If you want to say it was a human, whatever, I don't know any humans that are 9.5 foot tall. Or even
that's pretty tall.
Especially not skulking around the back of the casino.
No.
Right. And they did find footprints that came from a field and came over a fence and then went to that dumpster. So, and he even described what it looked like. He said, you take like a tall basketball player, just kind of lanky, and add some hair to it. And that's basically what this thing looked like.
Almost like the Boggy Creek dude behind your shoulder back there.
Well,
Right.
I've been out there past that casino, because down there where the old school was and all that stuff, the Indian school, and we did investigations out there. And I know when it's outside in the dark that there was all kinds of things in the woods.
Right.
Now, when we filmed Soul Catcher out there, there was, although this was obviously a shadow person, but super tall, and looked like a female with a blanket across her, but way taller than your regular human. But not only that, there was stuff moving all throughout the woods of varying sizes. Were they shadow people? Were they little people? Were they Bigfoot? Were they what? I don't know. But I am a total skeptic, and
Right.
I saw things moving, and I'm like, so what is that? But I'm also not the kind to go, let's go out into the woods. No. Let's go back into the.
That's where he says,
yeah.
no, I'm sorry. I'm not doing that.
I'm a city boy, and
it's like those.
And I
it's
say
like,
that proudly.
It's like those cartoons, the old cartoons where the person's walking, they turn into a sucker, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh no,
Not me. No.
not you.
Nay, nay.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to go running in the woods either if I hear things like that in the woods. So
That's
I'm not
it.
Yeah.
going to do that either.
I am meat.
Yeah.
Would you go towards it if you had the opportunity, or would
I
you
would probably
back away?
I would probably be curious because, that one sighting that we had in the truck, I actually did go down to the road a little ways and turned down an oil field road and got out and did look.
Right in, Joe. I am a chicken.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Sorry, Scotty. I'm laughing at the comment. Did you see the comment?
Yeah, I did.
When it comes down to anything with big teeth, yeah.
Right?
I'm sorry, Scotty. Go ahead. You were talking.
But yeah, so I did go, I did turn down an oil field road and look up into the field because I knew there was a field behind there. And I did get out and look, but I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see anything. But yeah, sometimes curiosity will get the best of you.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have done it if I would have felt any type of danger. But I didn't really feel any danger. And we were in an open field, so if there was anything, I would have seen something.
See, if we're dealing with things that and it's all paranormal, but we'll say spiritual realm, there's nothing that'll stop me. I'm going that way. I'm going to take a look at it. I have no fear, but I don't think a ghost can eat me. So I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I don't.
They can apparently get married.
What?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about a different subject.
Okay.
A topic for another day.
Like ghosts getting married?
Yep.
I've heard a couple stories.
To the living.
I try not to. I don't deal with those people.
Here, yeah. Yeah, another discussion for another day.
I work in radiology. They work
I
down
think we'll do that on the O. We'll do that on the O. We'll do that on the O side. We'll come up with some topics to talk about.
That sounds good. Yeah, we got probably enough time for another.
We got 7 minutes.
Question, and then how to contact you again. But I'm gonna let you do it, Pam.
Yeah,
I'm
You're
I'm
fine.
kind of taking over.
No, it's okay. I love everybody jumping in.
just a reminder. Go ahead.
So, Scott, when somebody wants to get a hold of you, what would be the best way to get to do that?
Well, if you're on Facebook, I'm on Kansas Sightings, and that's a group that I run, so you can always jump on it. Or you can just punch in my name, look it up on Facebook, send me a message. Or Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations is always a good one. They're on Facebook. There's a lot of good videos that Brian's put out and has made with some of our different investigations that we've done. And one of the last ones he did was actually on little people down in Oklahoma. That was a really good video.
It is really good.
It's really good. It's really interesting because I don't know a lot about little people, and it's kind of like, what?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
and then the one that he did here recently down in Oklahoma City at the Stinchcomb, which he did with other Bigfoot research organizations in the area, was really a pretty good video too.
And I know you guys started is it a podcast as much as it is just a kind of a
So the
in the dirt? Is that what it's
in
called?
the dirt, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just us on there, just asking people asking us questions and just discussion.
It was pretty good.
To ask us any questions they want, or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. So I do know if anyone is interested in meeting Scotty or any of us, he's going to be at Bordertown Paracon, September 28th in Caney.
Yes, looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're all going to be there. So if you are in the area, feel free
Yeah.
to stop by and say hi.
Hi.
Yes.
I'm gonna do that.
Yay!
I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, September
You
28th.
do that. You
That is
do
that is
that.
not too far away. That is what we got? 2
God.
months. 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, 7 weeks.
2
And
months.
how much is it to get into Border Town?
It is free. It's
Oh
free
my
to the
goodness.
public.
Free. You can afford free. It's just a gas
Absolutely.
and just a short trip. You need to go and check it out. Caney, Kansas, September 28th, Saturday only. It's a great event. I got
Doors
lucky
open
enough.
at 9.
Yeah.
Here till 7:30. We have 40 different speakers. We've got 3 panels. We've got panels on ghosts. We've got panels on UFOs and cryptids.
And I'm on those.
Yeah, and then we've got some speakers that are presenters that are going to be doing some stuff. Adrian's going to be one of our moderators for us.
It should be fun.
And yeah,
Okay.
it's going to
Should be fun.
be a good time. Enzo will be there. Enzo's in the chat over there.
He says
Great.
that.
How
Nice.
it got started was we wanted to get together and start networking with other researchers in the area. And we decided it would be fun to kind of invite the public to listen to us speak too, if they wanted to, if they were interested. And it's growing every year. So
Yeah,
Huh?
that's September 28th in Caney, Kansas. In Springfield on October 11th and 13th, Ex-Con A.M.O.K will be represented there. At least I will be there. I don't know if
Yay.
anybody else is coming.
I'll be there.
Are you coming? Are you planning on it?
Wait. Which one?
That's in October
Ex-Con.
11th and 13th, Ex-Con.
Oh,
in
yeah,
Springfield.
that expo. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. At the Expo, October 26th and 27th in Little Rock, Arkansas, is the Arkansas Paranormal Expo. It is $10 a day, but that is nonstop speakers from the morning to the evening.
Oh, lots of
and-
speakers.
and,
And it's
couple-
usually packed.
Couple floors of vendors inside and out. Because there's outside vendors as well. Just a great event, and all the money goes to support the museum,
Good
the
time.
MacArthur Museum of Arkansas Military History. And then, and this is something that just come up today. I don't know if you're up on this, Sean, or not. But September 19th and 21st, 2025
I saw that.
is Haya Nation
Yep.
3. So they moved the date. So that's kind of cool because July is hot.
Yes, it is. It's miserable.
So we moved it to September next year. So that's good because that's like a full week before when you guys actually run the Caney thing next year as well. So that's good. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, Border Town is the last
uh,
Saturday of September every single
Mhm.
year. So
Yeah.
The first, as soon as I saw the date, I went, oh my God. And I went and checked the calendar. I said, woo, great. So,
Yep.
yes. We got, what do we got? What do we got? Next week, it's my week again.
Yes. it
Yay.
is.
And I have a foreigner coming on. She's from the faraway land of Texas. She runs East Texas
Oh.
Paranormal. It is Martha Hazard Decker. She's been on the show before.
Lovely lady.
she's
But
awesome.
but I do love her. I've known her for years, and we I mean we've been at several events together. So and she's been at the Arkansas Paranormal Expo last couple of years, and she's got a great presentation to talk about. She's got a good foundation to base her paranormal investigations on. It's great. But like I said, it's Martha Hazard Decker next week. She just spoke at the Oklahoma Paracon a couple weeks ago, and she'll be speaking at the Arkansas Paranormal Expo. And until then, till next week at 7 o'clock, hey, y'all be good. Bye. Say
Bye.
bye, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye. Okay, what do we? Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Say that again. Wait a minute.
Slow motion.
Bye. Bye.